to be back. Been a while since you've seen me. It's the month of January. We just kind of take it easy here, but I'm ready to get back on the grind. I know I say that all the time, but I actually do mean it this time. You guys seem to really enjoy the catcher prospect ranking, so I'm going to continue to do it with every position. Thank you guys so much for supporting what I do. I appreciate it. This is fun to me. There's no baseball to talk about. Screw it. Let's just get going into these rankings. Top 10 first base prospects in all of Major League Baseball, at least in my opinion. You're starting to see some of the major publications start to throw out their lists now. Seems like a perfect time for me to get my hat in the ring as well. I want to give a big shout out to Will over on Twitter. Will Shug Stats. I don't know how to pronounce that middle word there, but he sent me an Excel document that has a lot of the breakdowns of players' percentiles and just like percentages and different stats I don't have access to, which does help me with these rankings a lot. So big shout out to him. Drop him a follow on Twitter if you're interested in that stuff, as well as drop me a follow on Twitter and all my social media at GiraffeNeckMarc. Links in description. Trying to keep the intros a little bit shorter. Testing something out. The YouTube algorithm. I'm still talking too much. Editor, cut me out. Let's go to the video. So getting started off at the number 10 spot for me at first base, I'm going to go with Seth Beer of the Arizona Diamondbacks. He doesn't really fall into the same category as like a guy who has a defined position to start the 2022 MLB season, which is why he still finds himself on this list. Seth Beer, first baseman, maybe a corner outfielder for the Diamondbacks in the future. Came out of Clemson. He's a little bit older on today's video, one of the older players that we're going to feature, but I still do think that he's pretty good and has a pretty high floor in terms of how good he's going to be at the major league level. Seth Beer did play in 5 major league games last year and did hit a home run in his first at bat, so that was really cool. And in the minors, he's just always kind of been a really solid hitter. Not really this elite power guy by any means, but he's a dude who's got good gap power, can take it to all fields, good plate discipline, doesn't strike out a lot, walks a pretty decent amount. I mean, he's had close to 400 on base percentages the last few years in the minors. There just isn't that elite power that you expect sometimes with first base, which is why I have him here at number 10, as well as just being like 25 years old. Makes it a little bit tougher to throw him up my list, but still a top 10 first base prospect, I think. For 9th best first base prospect in Major League Baseball, I'm going to talk about Aaron Sabato of the Minnesota Twins. Sabato drafted in 2020 in the first round out of the University of North Carolina. He came into the draft as one of the better power hitters to be taken, and Sabato has shown that at times. Now, the numbers don't look great when you look at the slash line. They're a little all over the place. 202 average, 373 on base, 410 slugging, and 783 OPS. You see a lot of good. 373 on base with a 202 batting average. That's kind of interesting because he did walk 92 times in 107 games last year, but there is a strikeout issue. Now, this is where it's weird. He doesn't actually swing and miss and chase too much. He just kind of strikes out because he doesn't swing enough. He's not necessarily aggressive enough, but he has big power. He does have good plate discipline. These are all things with minor tweaks. Aaron Sabato could become one of the premier power hitters in the minor leagues because he is a big boy. He has pretty good exit velos, and he is an all-around good hitter. I think with another year of minor league baseball underneath his belt in 2022, we can see a more consistent look from Sabato going into the following year. Next up at the number 8 spot, Kansas City Royals first base prospect Vinny Pasquantino. Pasquantino is one of these guys that the Royals have been able to figure out and turn him into a beast at the plate. He was really good in his first year in minor leagues in 2019 as a 21-year-old playing rookie ball. 57 games, 14 homers, 17 doubles, 963 OPS. He doesn't strike out and he does walk, and we saw that again in 2021, where between high A and double A, basically split time there. 24 homers, 37 doubles, 3 triples, and 84 RBIs, hitting 300 with a 394 on base, 563 slugging, and 957 OPS. He walked 64 times, struck out 64 times, so he was great at getting on base while also still hitting the baseball. He's got really good power, left-handed bat. He's a little bit older. He's 24 years old, so he's not necessarily one of these younger guys, which is why I have him again a little bit lower on the list. But at first base, it seems like Vinny Pasquantino is going to be able to be a very serviceable Major League Baseball player. He raked at Old Dominion, and he's raked throughout the minors. He's definitely top 10. Next up at the number 7 spot, one of the prospects that I think is really fun to watch, and that's Luken Baker of the St. Louis Cardinals. Now, Luken Baker's a name you might be familiar with. He was great in college at TCU. I mean, ever since he got there, the dude raked, and he's done that with the Cardinals. After a rough 2019 season at high A ball, where he struggled a little bit to find his power, Luken Baker really looked great in 2021. 26 homers, 21 doubles, 70 RBIs, hitting 249 with a 324 on base, 530 slugging, 854 OPS. Those numbers don't jump off the page, but when you see this guy swing the bat and when you see him hit, the ball is absolutely crushed when he touches it. He's a bigger guy, not one of the best athletes by any means, but at 6'4", 280, the power that he's got, the way the ball jumps off his bat, super exciting. It's just he's kind of screwed. Not really going to play over Paul Goldschmidt anytime soon, so expect to see him probably hang out in AAA all of next year. But when a DH comes around, he could be a very good option because he definitely has the ability to be a top power hitter for sure. Just missing out on the top 5, coming in at number 6, I've got Yonkenzie Noel of the Cleveland Guardians. Oh boy, Yonkenzie is really fun, guys. While he doesn't necessarily have the greatest plate discipline right now, still struggles to walk a little bit. Last year in his 19-year-old season, between high A, and rookie ball, he put up some crazy good numbers, hits the ball extremely hard. This dude is a beast. beast. I know he's technically listed as like he can play third base. No, he's a first baseman. And again, keep in mind at 19, he's like 2 or 3 years younger than everyone he's facing in even low and high A ball. So listen to these numbers. 70 games, 19 homers, 14 doubles, 66 RBIs, hitting 340 with a 390 on base, 615 slugging, and a 1005 OPS. Yes, an OPS above 1,000. Granted, in 70 games. It's not the largest sample size, but Kenzie has improved upon his game every single year since the Guardians signed him back in 2018. He's still super young and super raw, and we see that he has these really good bat-to-ball skills that translate super well on the field, and he makes a massive impact. Kenzie has a strong swing, strong base, uses his lower half beautifully. This is a guy who I think we're going to be talking about in a couple years as like one of the premier power-hitting first base prospects, because the stuff he's been able to accomplish already at only 19, really eye-opening. Getting the top 5 started at the number 5 spot, one of the cooler prospects in today's video, that's going to be Dustin Harris of the Texas Rangers. Now, Rangers fans, I'm sure you're familiar with Dustin Harris. This guy was incredible last year, one of the biggest risers in all prospects lists around baseball. Now, he's still not going to be this top 100 guy, as a lot of these first basemen aren't, just because it's just a tough position to give a lot of value to. But Dustin Harris did something that only a few guys did in minor league baseball last year, and that was hit 20 homers, 20 doubles, and steal 20 bases. Yes, first baseman stole 20 bags last year. In 110 games, 20 homers, 21 doubles, 85 RBIs, stealing 25 bases, hitting 327 with a 401 on base, 542 slugging, and 943 OPS. Dustin Harris is a beast. Now, 20 of those stolen bases came in low A, and of course, we know there's the pickoff rule, so he might not be the fastest, this big speedster that you see when you think of 20-25 stolen bases, but it tells you he's a smart heads-up player who also has the ability to put the bat on the ball at an elite level in the minors, hit the ball hard, and hit it for some pop, and that's what he did in his 110 games last year. He's improved every single season he's been in the minors. He's a guy who's still very young and raw, and the Rangers like what they've seen thus far. People are talking about this guy a lot, and for good reason. Dustin Harris was real intriguing to a lot of people around baseball, and I've got him at number 5 for first base. Coming in at the number 4 spot, another St. Louis Cardinal. This time it's going to be Juan Yepez. Juan Yepez is, he's really good, guys. First off, exit velo-wise, some of the highest in the minors. The dude absolutely crushes baseballs, and he really broke out as a hitter last year after a pretty decent 2019 season. Last year, he actually spent the majority of his time in AAA, 92 games of his 111 last year. In total, his season numbers were 27 homers, 29 doubles, 77 RBIs, hitting 286 with a 383 on base, 586 slugging, 969 OPS. Really solid for a guy who was 23 at AAA, basically playing against those fringe Major League Baseball players. And then he also really opened a lot of people's eyes in the fall league, where he was going up against some of the top prospects in baseball, and he just raked. 23 games, 7 homers, 8 doubles, 1028 OPS. Like, he has great bat-to-ball skills, doesn't strike out a lot, gets on base, hits the ball to all fields with pop. Again, kind of blocked because of Paul Goldschmidt, but Juan Yepez is a guy who's going to find his way into a lineup in St. Louis next season, without a doubt. Kind of similar to a little bit of a Jose Martinez role. They'll find a place for his bat because it is that good. Getting the top 3 started at the number 3 spot, I've got Nick Pratto of the Kansas City Royals. I say it in every video, it feels like, but the Royals have figured out something with power, and Nick Pratto is another prime example of it. Prior to 2021, this was a guy who was kind of not really impressive in the minors. 2018, he hit 14 homers. That was kind of cool. But 2019, the last time we saw minor league baseball before last year, he was terrible. He was awful. But then 2021 came around, and Nick Pratto went off. Started off in AA, destroyed it. Went to AAA, destroyed it. 124 games, 36 homers, 28 doubles, 7 triples, and 98 RBI, while also stealing 12 bases, hitting 265 with a 385 on base, 602 slugging, 988 OPS. He got better as he moved up through the organization and through the system. It's kind of crazy to think about. And he's turned into one of the better power prospects in all of Major League Baseball. The changes he was able to make in his swing, just like we saw with MJ Melendez, allowed for him to become this different hitter, tap into that power potential, and should be the future first baseman of the Kansas City Royals. Like, really should play him next year if they're actually going to try and be fun and competitive. Coming in as the second best first base prospect in Major League Baseball, Triston Casas of the Boston Red Sox. I'm sure Triston Casas is a name that you guys know all about. He's been getting a lot of hype really ever since like the 2020 season, when Baseball America, Major League Baseball Pipeline, Prospectus all started ranking him inside the top 100. If you've seen this guy physically, he's pretty intimidating. He's got some crazy long legs. He's 6'4", 255, swings a beautiful left-handed bat. And the thing that's really awesome about Triston Casas is last year, not only did we see him cut down on the strikeouts, but the walk rate went up as well, which is a huge development for a guy who has really big power, plays a pretty good first base, is a pretty decent athlete. He's ranked pretty highly in a lot of rankings going into the 2022 season, and for good reason. Last year in 86 games, Casas hit 14 homers, 15 doubles, 59 RBIs, hitting 279 with a 394 on base, 484 slugging, 877 OPS. He continued playing in the Arizona Fall League, where the power didn't necessarily come alive, but still hit 372 with a 982 OPS. He had an almost 500 on base percentage, which like that alone is just awesome. And he's coming from the Red Sox organization. Chaim Bloom's there. They know talent. They know the kind of players that they want that can make a huge impact. And it feels like Triston Casas Casas is going to be able to be that guy. I've got him as the second best first baseman in the minors. And then coming in as the best first base prospect in Major League Baseball, I think it's pretty obvious. It's Spencer Torkelson of the Detroit Tigers. This guy is a top 5 prospect, just straight up in all of Major League Baseball. He has the ability to play third. He's not really going to because, again, first base seems to be the spot for him. And while he did struggle, quotation marks, in AAA, because like he hit 238, but still had an 889 OPS, so I really wouldn't call that struggling. He had a pretty awesome first year in the minors. He went all the way from high A ball to AAA at the end of the season. 30 homers, 29 doubles, 91 RBIs, hitting 267 with a 383 on base, 552 slugging, and 935 OPS. He's good enough where he should be at the major league level next year to start. Will he be? No, but he's just good enough to be there. He's flown through all the minor leagues. He raked at Arizona State. When he got drafted at number 1 overall, I was telling you guys, it's not that it was a hot take by any means, but I was telling you, he is one of the best hitters that we've seen drafted in a while, just straight up pure hitting wise. And we saw that last year in the minors. Again, first season in professional baseball to hit 30 homers and 30 doubles basically, while having a 930 OPS while jumping all the way from high A to AAA. Torkelson's a special player. The Tigers got a franchise cornerstone without a doubt. He's a top 5 prospect in all of baseball in my eyes, and definitely the number 1 first base prospect. So those are my top 10 first baseman prospects in Major League Baseball. I'd love to know what you guys think down in the comment section below. If you made it this far, I really would appreciate if you could drop a like on the video, as well as subscribe if you have not yet done so. Follow me on all my social media at GiraffeNeckMarc, links in the description. That's where I'll wrap it up, guys. You know the drill from here on out. YouTube recommends you watch this video. This is my most recent upload. Click through those if you have not yet seen them. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow for another video. Yes, we're back and we're grinding. See you then. Bye.